For decades, a mysterious beast known as the Chupacabra has been haunting the American Southwest and sucking the blood of the livestock of the locals. There have been many tales about monsters, beasts, and other mythological characters, and Chupacabra remains one of them. Whether it is real or not, you get to decide. What is Chupacabra? Chupacabra is a Spanish word for goatsucker. According to legends, this bloodthirsty creature moves onto sheep, rabbits, chickens, cats, and dogs, and hunts them down by sucking their blood. Hundreds of farms throughout different parts of the world ended up dead and bloodless, and the locals still could not figure out the reason behind such hunting. The farmers in other countries began to complain about similar attacks on their livestock after the word about Puerto Rican farms spread. Several domestic animals in the countries like Chile, Mexico, Argentina, Colombia, and the United States were losing their life following gruesome deaths with no explanation. How does a Chupacabra look like? In appearance, a Chupacabra has gray scaly skin with a raised ridge on its back. It also has vicious teeth. Some theories suggest that its appearance matches several wild animals who have fallen prey to mange, a disease caused by a mite infestation. Most commonly, Chupacabra may be coyotes or rarely raccoons suffering from a severe case of this disease. The ridge on its body is the remnant guard hairs of the ruff, the scales may be because of burrowing mites, and the gray appearance could be because of its natural skin color. Does a Chupacabra have a history? There are many stories regarding the background of this creature. The history began in 1992 when the newspapers El Nuevo Dia and El Vocero in Puerto Rico published continuous reports of killing many domestic animals, including goats. The first killing took place in Moca, a small town. Some locals suspected that the killing might have been committed by satanic cult members. However, it soon spread through Puerto Rico, and many farms reported a loss of animals. The incidents took place brutally, leaving no trace of the killer. The many mysteries behind Chupacabra. Many mysteries revolve around the existence of a Chupacabra in various parts of America. Some people claim to have seen a gigantic creature equal to the size of a bear. Their description of this creature includes spines on the back from the neck to the tail. Some call it a dragon described in many books. Another mystery claims that a Chupacabra looks like a dog. Between these tales and legends, one rumor lays down that a Chupacabra could hypnotize or paralyze the animals. But scientists have a different approach to this myth. They explain that the prey is stunned due to fear, which allows the Chupacabra to suck its blood. To put an end to these legends and rumors and find more substantial information about their existence, Benjamin Radford, an American writer, went through extensive research. Over the next 5 years, he would make it his life's priority to either track down this living specimen or debunk these floating myths, once and for all. His years-long journey included frequent visits through farmlands and forests across South America and the southwestern United States of America until he discovered what he had been looking for. He finally met a person who had had an actual encounter with this blood-sucking monster. He stated that one woman's story of sighting a Chupacabra brought a lot of attention to the existence of these mythical creatures in the world. Her name was Madeline Tolentino, and she saw a Chupacabra through a window at her home in Canavanas. The incident took place in 1995. Tolentino described that a bipedal creature with reptilian skin, black eyes, and spines down its back was hunting and preying on animals, thus responsible for their death. She also stated that it hopped like a kangaroo and smelt of sulfur. Chupacabra spotted in different parts of world. 1995 to 1999. Reports of alleged sightings of the creature began to proliferate in the mid-90s in several places. Dozens of mutilated animals began to appear in Nayarit, as well as in other places in Mexico, the southwestern United States, and even in China. The first reports from Puerto Rico totaled more than 200 in 1995. 2000 to 2010. In April 2000, in the mining town of Calama, in northern Chile, around 100 barnyard animals were reported to be bleeding or mutilated in a very strange way. This situation continued until almost the end of 2002. Soon after, a series of denunciations were collected by the tabloid press from other sectors of the country, although nothing extraordinary ever materialized. A peasant killed a hyena, which provoked international attention, and others confused the fetus of a mountain monkey with this being. An urban myth arose that a supposed NASA mission had arrived in the country to study the phenomenon. After much speculation, the studies ended up indicating that the attacks were only due to dogs. Both footprints and hairs indicated that they were domestic dogs. In the first half of 2002, mutilated cattle were found in several parts of Argentina, particularly in the area between the provinces of Rio Negro and Santa Fe. Although there were perceptions of ablations of the reproductive systems of animals, the media associated the events with the Chupacabra phenomenon or with rituals of satanic sections. It didn't take long for the National Service of Health and Food Quality, SENASA, to conclude that the mutilations were actually carried out by foxes or snout mice. In July 2004, a rancher killed a hairless dog-like creature, which he discovered attacking his cattle, near San Antonio, Texas. The animal, initially named the Beast of Elmendorf, was later identified as a coyote with sarcoptic mange, after its DNA was examined by the University of California, Davis. In October of that same year, 2 more bodies were found in the same area. Texas biologists examined samples from both carcasses and were able to determine that they were also coyotes sick with very severe cases of scabies. In Coleman County, Texas, a farmer named Reggie Lago captured an animal using a trap he had set up after some of his poultry turned up dead. The animal's appearance was described as a mixture of a hairless dog, rat, and kangaroo. Lago made the animal available to officers in charge of Texas parks and wildlife for identification, but he later stated in an interview with John Adolphi that he had disposed of the creature 2 days after finding it. In mid-August 2006, a woman named Michelle O'Donnell from Maine photographed a strange animal on the side of a road. O'Donnell recalled seeing the same animal hanging around her home a week earlier, and her husband described it as a mix between a rodent and a canid. The animal had apparently been hit by a car and was unidentifiable. It was originally reported that the carcass had been destroyed by vultures before experts could examine it, but later, wildlife officials managed to take a DNA sample and determine that it was a wolf-dog hybrid. In August 2007, a woman named Phyllis Canyon was informed of the discovery of the remains of a strange-looking animal in Leather, Texas, outside a neighbor's property. Canyon had spent the last few weeks trying to photograph or film an alleged strange creature that she believed was responsible for the deaths of around 30 of her chickens over several years. Canyon also claimed to have seen 3 creatures similar to the discovered remains. After photographing the creature's remains, Canyon contacted a taxidermist to dissect the creature, which she subsequently began exhibiting in her home. After the news reached national notoriety, experts from Texas State University San Marcos offered to conduct DNA tests on the creature. The analysis resulted in the identification of the creature as a coyote. Canyon, not satisfied, then contacted experts from the University of California at Davis for a second analysis. This time, analyses determined that the creature was specifically a hybrid, a cross between a coyote and Mexican wolf. According to scientists and wildlife specialists, this hybrid is not unknown and has been studied before. As for the strange appearance of the animal, it is believed that the animal possibly suffered from mange, which may explain the animal's grayish to blue skin. The town of Cuero was the setting for another sighting a year later in August 2008 when Brandon Riedel, a DeWitt County deputy sheriff, filmed an unidentifiable animal in the alleys of the city with the dash camera of his patrol car. The animal was the size of a coyote but lacked hair and had a long snout, short front legs, and long hind legs. Sheriff Joe Zaveski, Riedel's boss, suspected it was the same species of coyote identified by investigators at Texas State University San Marcos in November 2007. The video was shown in an April 2011 episode of the sci-fi television series Faked or Fake, Paranormal Files, in which a team of researchers attempted to recreate the video of the board using a miniature horse and a Xoloitzcuintla dog. None of the test animals used appeared to match the creature in the video. The team also examined a DNA sample taken from the alleged carcass of one of the creatures found by a local farmer and later identified as a wolf-coyote hybrid. In September 2009, CNN aired a video of an unidentified dead animal. The same report stated that local people had begun to speculate on the possibility that it was a chupacabra. A taxidermist in Blanco County, Texas claimed that one of his former students had provided him with the body of the animal, which had allegedly been discovered by a cousin of that student in a barn, and that it had apparently died after ingesting rodent poison. The taxidermist said he believed it was a mutation of the coyote gene. In July 2010, animal control officers were reported to have shot and killed an alleged chupacabra in Hood County, Texas. However, an animal control officer at the location said that scientists from Texas University conducted identification tests on the carcass, determining that it was a hybrid between a coyote and a dog, with signs of mange and internal parasites. A second supposed chupacabra, which was killed a few kilometers away, was eaten by vultures before it could be recovered for testing. On December 18, 2010, in Nelson County, Kentucky, a man named Mark Cothran shot and killed an animal he couldn't recognize. Many photos of the creature were taken, and the story was picked up by various news organizations. Cothran described the creature with long ears, whiskers, a long tail, and the size of a domestic cat. Cothran said he spoke with the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources, to whom he allegedly turned the animal over for further analysis. 2011 to 2014. Alleged chupacabra found on Florida State Highway 72. On July 4, 2011, Jack Crabtree of Lake Jackson, Texas, claimed to have seen an alleged chupacabra in his backyard. At first, Crabtree stood by his original chupacabra theory, but after his story was published by the local newspaper and several reporters from other outlets reproduced the story a few days later, Crabtree quickly changed his mind and accepted the expert's explanation that the creature was probably a coyote with mange, adding that it had been a joke that he never quite believed. Her story was recounted by CNN and MSNBC. On July 15, 2011, local police managed to capture the creature Crabtree had seen, and experts were able to confirm that it was definitely a coyote with mange. In 2012, in Loma Hermosa, Tepic, several residents reported seeing a creature pass at high speed through the streets of the neighborhood. In early September 2013, a family in the city of Rosario, in the province of Santa Fe, Argentina, revealed to the media that they possessed the corpse of a small animal that had been found in the town of Vera, north of Santa Fe, which they could not identify, and which some had related to the mythical chupacabra. After the news spread, Professor Jorge Martí, head of museology and taxidermy of the Museum of Natural Sciences, Dr. Ángel Gallardo of Rosario, examined the specimen and determined that it was a naturally mummified cat. 2 sightings were reported on September 7, 2013, and were featured in a report on the website of Fox 2 News in St. Louis, Missouri. In the first, a woman had spotted a small gray dog-like animal near the front gate of Old Lake Hill Speedway in the same city, while a week earlier, a hunter claimed to have killed a chupacabra while hunting raccoons. The Mississippi Department of Wildlife determined that this case was also a mange dog. A Texas couple who lived on a ranch in Victoria County told the media they shot and killed a chupacabra on their property on the afternoon of February 23, 2014. A wildlife biologist working for the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department also spoke to the media, giving the following statement: "I have seen squirrels, raccoons, and coyotes of the same characteristics in this area. The chupacabra is a mythical creature that most people see, but it's really sarcoptic mange, which is caused by a mite biting an animal. This can only be a mammal, dogs, cats, coyotes, foxes, and there is a version that humans can also catch." On April 3, 2014, another Texas couple claimed to have captured a chupacabra in Ratcliffe, Texas, on March 29 of the same year. Benjamin Radford of Live Science suggested that the animal was a raccoon affected by sarcoptic mange. Is the mystery behind the existence of chupacabra solved? For the people who believe that chupacabra is nothing but a diseased coyote, the mystery remains solved. However, the existence of this creature is still discussed as some people do not consider the explanation of it being a coyote or dog with scabies. Some consider it a part of folklore. Though there is a little mystery left to prove from a scientific point of view, this goatsucker will continue to be reported whether it exists or not. People may claim they have seen something they call Chupacabra.